And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, I've been trying to do a few things with this channel, but one of the things I've been trying to do is really challenge myself. And what I mean by challenge myself is I'm trying to look at the Pokemon hobby from all different sides and really start to make decisions and how do I internalize things, but then make it very apparent to you because that's something I've tried in the past. One of the more recent things I've done is I made a video literally titled why I sold my Evolving Skies. And in that video, it was also like a trivia video, but at the beginning of that video, I said, listen, I sold all my booster boxes of Evolving Skies. I currently do not own any of them. And I said pretty much the simple reason was I thought there was going to be a reprint. And then the very next day after I made that video, Pokemon announced that there was going to be a reprint of Evolving Skies. And then I proceeded to make another video where I just said, wow, the timing of that was amazing. So I'm trying to do in this video sort of like a path of where I see, Pokemon Modern investing going for the very near term. Now, this is a caveat. I've talked about it now on this channel so many times. And what that really boils down to is when I think of Pokemon investing, when I think about modern investing, it's not really as much about sets as it is products. So, what products am I talking about in sets? Is it the booster boxes? Is it special collection boxes? Stuff like that. I honestly believe that that is the direction the modern market and the investable market and all this stuff. I do think that that is the path we're going to start going. So, what I wanted to do in this video, which I think is very hard, and I don't see a lot of people really try to tackle it, but that's just look at the very like short-term trajectory of Pokemon. So first things first is I still don't think Pokemon Go is going to be this absolutely banger set that everybody thinks it is going to be. I think it's going to perform way worse than we're seeing, even Shining Fates now perform. And Shining Fates now is performing after all these reprints. It's not like, you know, because right out the gate, Shining Fates just stomped out $120 a booster box. Absolutely crazy. Pokemon Go, I don't see it happening. I think Pokemon Go is going to be really the first specialty set we see right at release, really stay on the shelves, meaning it's going to be relatively easy to pick up. So I think that's going to really hurt like the stonk out the investability of that product. I just don't see the demand being there. And if the demand is there, I think that Pokemon is just going to print Pokemon Go to the absolute ground. Now, I understand what a lot of people are saying. It's like, well, it's not all about the investability stuff. No, but that's what I'm trying to do on this video. And now, this is thing about like Astral Radiance. Again, Astral Radiance is a set that you could go into any store right now and probably pick it up on the shelves. You could go online, you could pick it up for very cheap. Booster boxes for the first wave are floating right around like $99 right now on eBay. So that is actually like relatively low price for a brand new set that should have some hype. If Astral Radiance eventually gets a reprint, which again, we're talking about a set that was literally just released within the month. But if that set does get a reprint in the near future, it's going to really hurt prices badly for that set. Now, this is the thing about Astral Radiance. There are some amazingly playable cards. Everybody's seeing what like some of the V stars from Astral Radiance are doing from competitive play. It is a very competitively viable set, but competitive viability only will bring a set so far because there's always that like concern for some of those super like playable cards is one, reprints kill sets. Roaring Skies is a great example with like Shamans. And yes, it's a very playable set, very playable card, but reprint actually destroyed that. So Astral Radiance does fall in that like I'm a little worried about it. Now, this is the thing too, is one of the reprints coming in August is Evolving Skies. And that's the reprint I talked about earlier. Everybody's been speculating on it. A lot of people that do own booster box positions have sold out of those for the intent, at least with the very short term. And again, this is the thing I want to make very clear to everybody out there watching this video. Everybody listen to this. I'm going to buy back in at Evolving Skies. While I have sold out on my position of booster boxes for Evolving Skies, it is a temporary thing. It's not a permanent thing, meaning I was just playing a very short term market game, but it's not a permanent thing. I still think Evolving Skies is a very fantastic set. But this is the weird thing. Evolving Skies reprints is going to come in August. Now, what else is going to happen in August, which I think is going to have a weird effect that I'm not really sure the market or have I seen anyone truly talk about, is Lost Origins. Now, if you don't know what Lost Origins is, Lost Origins is the next Pokemon set coming out. It's going to be the 11th 11th expansion from Sword and Shield. So it's also going to be released at the end of August. I believe the release date is August 23rd, August 23rd or 25th or somewhere is right around there. So this is the thing about Lost Origins. So what I've seen so far, definitely looking at like the Japanese sets like Dark Plasma, stuff like that, it's going to be a character rare, subset. It's going to have some really good character rares. We talked about as recently as my last video. You got a Pikachu character rare, you got the Gengar, you got the Snorlax character rare. But now there's also a few cards that people are speculating are going to be in this Lost Origin set. Now, is Pokemon getting really unoriginal with names? Lost Origins. Now, is this a play on, Lost Thunder and Ancient Origins? Is it some kind of weird play there? Because I think everybody hated the name Shining Fates, which was just a complete ripoff of Shining Legends and Hidden Fates. But anyways, Lost Origins, what it looks like, because you got to keep in mind, there was a few cards in Astral Radiance that people were going to say, Astral Radiance might be a good set because it's going to have, the Lance's Charizard character art in it. And then it was going to have the the character rare Pikachu VMAX, with like red and the VMAX Pikachu character card. And we saw those in Japanese. So everybody was like, that's going to be an Astral Radiance, but that never came. So there's a very strong possibility that those cards are also going to be in Lost Origins. So when you start to think about like, oh, okay, well, what if all the cards we expect, also all the good cards that we expected for, Astral Radiance ends up in Lost Origins, and then all the good cards from Dark Phantasma wind up in Lost Origins too. It's like, it appears that Lost Origins is building itself up to end up being a absolutely banger, fantastic set. Like, I haven't seen one card yet from that set officially released. Yes, with the exception of the Japanese cards. But if Lost Origins ends up like building itself up to be this really hype set and could actually start to, challenge a little bit of like the best sets of Sword and Shield. So to go up kind of head to head with like an Evolving Skies or a Brilliant Stars, because then you got to start peeling back, like start having this argument of like, what are the better sets? Me personally, I like Brilliant Stars. Most people like Evolving Skies. It's one of those super like semantic arguments of what the best set of Sword and Shield is. But now, if Lost Origins ends up being this fantastic set, which I believe it's setting up to be, this brings into question like that Evolving Skies reprint, because I think right now a lot of the thought process between Evolving Skies reprint is that the demand for Evolving Skies is going to be as strong as it is right now. Now, what I am afraid might happen is that the reprint of Evolving Skies has the potential to be just freaking massive. So if this Evolving Skies reprint is just an absolute dump, meaning Pokemon has just been printing Evolving Skies to the absolute ground, because right now they got to be printing something. A lot of the speculation is saying they're printing a lot of Pokemon Go. Some of the speculation is they're printing a lot of Evolving Skies. And then you have the other people saying, well, they're printing both. They're printing Pokemon Go and they're printing the Evolving Skies reprint. So either way, if Evolving Skies has this massive dump right before Lost Origins, and Lost Origins is a very fantastic set where you got to keep in mind when it comes to Pokemon, when it comes to modern sets in the real time, here and now, a lot of people are just looking at whatever the newest set, whatever that flashiest thing is. And if you don't believe me, you can go back and just look. Once the real hype of Pokemon started, recently in 2020, I guess you could probably say that kind of starts at like Darkness Ablaze and then really hit hard in Vivid Voltage. And, even Battle Styles at release was super hype. Shining Fates at release was super hype. Chill and Rain, like all these sets that ended up being relatively mediocre in the present at release, all those were super hype because that's where the market goes. The market loves the newest, flashiest, shiniest card out there. And if you don't believe me, look at PSA 10 prices at release when cards are pop one of two because somebody express graded some card and it sells for an absolutely crazy price. This is just reality of the Pokemon market. At release, a lot of the thought goes to whatever the most modern, most current set is. Now, if this happens, so now you got Lost Origins and Evolving Skies. If the buying pressure for Evolving Skies is not actually there, meaning if people don't want to buy Evolving Skies because of Lost Origins, because we're going into this weird time in just the macro global economy where now we're inflation's really hurting people, especially people that might be even call it from middle class, on down, you know, relatively, some people might only have like a few $100s worth of, I call it fun money, or people call it like discretionary funds where they could just spend it on whatever they want, like extra funds. As inflation starts to rise and, gas prices and food and all this stuff goes up, and maybe people, if they had at the end of the month, like $300-400 they were spending towards Pokemon, maybe that got cut in half. Maybe that's instead of 400, that's only $200 worth of what I call fun money that people can buy with Pokemon. Well, if they now have the option to pick up Evolving Skies, which is probably a set that they have already opened, probably for the large majority of people out there who maybe didn't sell during the, that gradual peak that we saw, who didn't sell, said, you know what, this is part of my PC, this is part of my personal collection. Maybe I won't, like go crazy after Evolving Skies because I've already acquired my position. If that happens and they're looking at Lost Origins and they're like, this is a set I kind of want to buy right now because my extra fund money has been cut in half and I only have enough money to buy like one booster box of the newest set. If that does happen, that could mean the flood of Evolving Skies could actually be so strong that it could really pull down prices even further. Now, I've heard a couple people say some different numbers. I've heard a few people say, as high as, nope, booster box price is probably going to stay around the 140. I've heard other people, say, no, I think booster box prices are going to be right around that 120. And then I think there's a decent amount of people out there who think like a large dump is right around that $95 to $100 mark because, when we saw the lows for Evolving Skies, we saw 95 to 100, but it also like was coupled with the fact that there was a huge dump of battle styles at the exact same time. There was a huge dump of Fusion Strike at the exact same time. And then we saw some booster boxes of like Darkness Ablaze and Vivid Voltage and all of these sets just all hit at once. And it was because of a lot of like these people with big distributor agreements sort of had to make whatever money they could. They had to liquidate funds. And that was one of the reasons that Evolving Skies prices, settled at the $95, $100 area, but they never really dropped much further below that. There were a couple outliers. I saw people were able to pick up like cases, but mainly a lot of stuff was buying in bulk where they were able to pick up Evolving Skies for cheaper than that. So, but I would say the majority of the census as of right now, at the time of recording this video, I would say that most people for Evolving Skies reprint think it's going to fall somewhere between that 100 to 120 mark. But if we get this, and this is where you have to talk, and this is why I always like to like talk through my thought process and where am I going with my thought process? Where is it coming from? And there's two things to think about. There's one is the one that's most dependent is how large is the reprint? Because if the reprint is actually much smaller, then prices aren't going to be affected much. But if the reprint is as large as I expect it is, some of the people I have talked to expect it is. Now, this is a weird thing. There's like two different sides of the argument. People are like, no, I heard the print, the reprint's going to be super small. I've heard other people say, no, I think it is going to be really big. So if it is really big, it could be a very strong possibility that Evolving Skies prices really, like crash low and they stay low for a little bit longer than a lot of people. Now, this is the thing. I still think Evolving Skies has a very nice long-term trajectory. But it's really going to take this reprint to really flush its way through. And I don't know how long that, you know, reprint is really going to take to flush through, because I think right now, everyone who could get Evolving Skies from distributor, I think a lot of people's thought process right now, a lot of their mindset is, I am going to take as much as my distributor gives me. And I think that's just a lot of people's thought processes, because they realize that Evolving Skies for a modern product is an extremely liquid product. And especially when you think of like the liquidity of modern and like really like being able to turn and burn this. But now this is like that very dangerous area where if a lot of people have this thought process in mind where they're saying, no, I don't care. I'm going to take as much as I could possibly get. If my distributor calls me tomorrow and says, how much do you want? And I say, I want 1,000 booster boxes. And they go, you got it. Then their thought process is they will take that. Depending on the size of this reprint, if you have everyone with that same exact thought process, this could start to line itself up for like a perfect storm of Pokemon prices really starting to, hit that hard downtrend. And again, this is also going to be super speculative again on what I said earlier on Lost Origins. Like, is that going to be the banger set? I think it's going to be, because honestly, from everything I'm seeing right now, I'm very excited about Lost Origins. And again, we haven't even seen one card officially like leaked yet, but I'm already excited about it. So we're going to run into this weird timeline too, where even with the whole macro world economy going on, and what I said earlier, where people are maybe not spending as much on Pokemon, but if people maybe said, I'm going to pass on Astro Radiance, maybe I'll pass on Pokemon Go, or maybe if they're not passing, meaning they're not just going crazy, or they're not stonking out. And this is the thing when you talk about modern investing, it's like, how much are you buying? Are you buying cases? Are you buying pallets? Or maybe you're just buying your one booster box. And then for Pokemon Go, maybe you're just buying your one ETB, or maybe you're buying two, one to hold, maybe one to sell in the future, but you're not going out buying cases because you're saying, I'm going to sit back. I'm going to wait, you know, you don't know what the world economy is going to do. You don't know everything that's going on. Maybe you're just kind of like taking a deep Pokemon breath. And this is the thing, I see a lot of questions in the chat all the time. And one of the questions I see people ask relatively often is, do I feel that Pokemon is pumping out sets too fast? And my answer to that question 100% of the time is always no. I don't think Pokemon is printing sets too fast. I think Pokemon's, set print order is like, it's very obvious. Like, it's been going on like this for a while. I actually like the pace at which sets are released. I actually enjoy it. But that's the thing, is I'm always able to pace myself through these sets. And I feel that the people who are asking those questions, probably more likely than not, I can't say this with all certainty, but I would say that if they are asking that question, it means that they are just maybe not able to pace themselves out well enough where they're able to just kind of sit back and relax and say, okay, yep, I'm going to buy this set. This set's going to come out in a couple months and I'll be ready for that. And I feel like maybe they're just going a little too hard for some of these sets. And that's kind of like that buyer's fatigue in the market. Now, why do people talk about buyer's fatigue? It's just because of questions like that. Because for me, I'm like, well, the Pokemon set release schedule is pretty obvious throughout this time. But if people are asking this question, to me, it appears that it has the strong likelihood of being buyer's fatigue. So if that buyer's fatigue is happening right now, and with everything going on in the global economy, it's just lining up for this weird perfect storm where if everybody goes, light on Astro Radiance, light on and I would like to know right now in the chat right now, have you guys gone hard on Astro Radiance? And when I say, have you gone hard on Astro Radiance, I mean that is, have you gone as hard at Astro Radiance as you have as other sets in the very near, past? Meaning, did you go as hard at Astro Radiance as you did, say, a Brilliant Stars? Or did you go as hard at Astro Radiance as you did maybe Evolving Skies? Did you buy as much as you did of those sets, or was it actually drastically less? Do you see yourself buying a ton of Pokemon Go? Pokemon Go, I think, has some good cards. Like, that's the thing. I don't think Pokemon Go is this absolutely stinker set. I think like that Mewtwo V alternative artwork card is a very beautiful card. I think the Radiant Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaurs are nice. Like, I like that they're more the retro look of cards, but I don't think that they're just like crazy strong, meaning I think people are going to get their fill of this set relatively fast. And when you think about like a very recent, specialty set like Celebrations is really one of those sets that people kind of want to collect multiple cards in that set, or at least pretty much complete the entire classic collection. And there was a few cards that even now with all as much Celebrations that has been on the market, like even the Charizard raw is still selling for like $70, which when you think about how many are out there, you're like, that's actually a relatively high price. Or even like the Umbreon Gold Star, stuff like that. Like, when you look at the prices of what that card's selling for, even with the huge supply, you kind of look at Celebrations and go, well, that's actually a relatively high price. And again, everything is super subjective, because if you look at the price of that card at release of Celebrations, if you look at it today, you're going to go, well, it had this massive drop in it. But that's the thing. All these like single prices for sets like that, again, super timeable, super obvious. I don't think it really creeps up on anybody when prices for cards from sets like that drop. Now, this is the thing. Celebrations is that weird 25th anniversary set, which may not get any more reprint. It definitely didn't have like the massive amount of reprints as something like a Shining Fates had, where now Shining Fates is very easily at that $49.99 mark. And you could probably go on a lot of websites throughout a lot of different, you know, people selling, and probably pick them up a little bit below that $49.99. Sure, if you only look at TCG Player and stuff like that, maybe the prices are a little bit higher, but you're starting to see like, a relative flat line of that, and at least not any kind of like stockage to the moon type prices. So if you take all the recent, memories, and now you equate that into what's happening right now, it's just very interesting where the path in the next couple months go. Because right now it's just June. So the path I'm pretty much laying out is only June, July, and then end of August. Come August 23rd, or 25th, when Lost Origins is released, I'm very curious to see what happens with Evolving Skies post release of Lost Origins. And this is one of the things I try to do. And this is one of the things I've been trying to do on my channel now, is be more transparent with my thought process. Because when I'm more transparent with my thought process, I do two things. One, the first thing is you really put yourself out on the edge, because now you definitely open yourself up to criticism. Because what I'm doing in this video is the definition of speculating. A lot of this is just a lot of things that haven't played out yet. A lot of these things is actually going against the norm, or a lot of like I call it the rhetoric, or the conversations that a lot of people are having, that they think the Evolving Skies reprint will still hold strong between like 100 and 120 and stuff like that. And maybe it won't be as massive. Like, again, all these things I'm doing in this video is super speculative. So that's the first thing I'm doing, is I'm really putting myself out, out in the open for criticism, because this video will only take like 2 months to age out. It will either age extremely well or extremely poorly. And then the second thing I've been trying to do is change up, a little bit of the content too. A lot of people say I'm, maybe don't let everyone know like all my thought processes and like exactly how I see stuff playing out sometimes. But I always want to like do more of the, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man the fish, you teach him for life. So I've always tried to do like more of like that open-ended, and not such a direct, like very short path window, which is what this is. This is what I think the outline of the Pokemon modern market is going to do in the next 2 months. Now, to reiterate what I said at the beginning of this video, which is a very important thing, as Pokemon starts to, I'm not even going to say Pokemon is really, dipping. I don't think it's doom and gloom or anything like that. I just think for a lot of products, because supply has finally caught up to demand for a lot of stuff. I mean, you could probably go into a lot of stores for, you know, first time in a long time where you can just see an absolute flood of supply of different products on your shelves, whether it's Target or Walmart or wherever you get your Pokemon cards. This is probably coming into that window where you can now pick up anything you want, with the exception of super, super high demand products. But even like the more premium modern products like Arceus V boxes, stuff like that, because it's a Cosmic Eclipse pack in it. I went into my local Walmart this morning and I saw Arceus V boxes sitting on the shelves. And I was actually surprised to see that, because I was like, this has a Cosmic Eclipse pack, and I would assume that this stuff would probably be eaten up. So now that we are coming into, it's not a downturn. I think it's just that lull, this more flatlining of this hobby, which is how it used to be. You used to be able to go into your store and pick up product on the shelves. I know for some people out there that sounds crazy, but this goes back to what I mentioned earlier. I think that when we look back at modern, I still personally think we will look at modern, especially when it comes to modern investing, we will look at different products opposed to sets. And it will depend on what the product is. And sometimes that product can be from a set. It can be like maybe booster boxes. I think booster boxes is a lot of the obvious stuff. But now some of these products that have very weak sets in it, products that are very strong with like Battle Styles packs and Chill and Rain packs and Sword and Shield base and Darkness Ablaze, and I hate to say it now, but maybe even like Vivid Voltage and stuff like that. Things that are products that are very heavy in these more lackluster, less demand type sets. I think these sort of, products, especially like V boxes, tins, stuff like that, where people really start to look at the packs that are inside it, is really going to hurt long-term prices for a lot of these products. But that goes back to what I've said on my channel in so many videos in the past, is you have to know what product you're buying. I don't think like booster boxes for a lot of these sets are going to perform the same way as 36 loose packs are going to perform. And meaning if you go out and you get a bunch of, V boxes for some, I don't know, what's like with like the Pikachu V boxes right now. Like it's got a sweet promo. It's got like the Pikachu and the Mimikyu, but like the packs inside that box are not like great packs. But let's say you went out and you bought a bunch of those V boxes, you cracked them all open and you sorted the packs out individually. Like the packs are probably not going to be worth it for the raw packs opposed to some of these booster boxes, but some of these booster boxes might take a long time to really go up in value, because I think for some of these booster boxes, the lows have already gone away. I made a video titled, "As I Walk Through the Valley of the $79.95 booster boxes, I Fear No Evil." It was when, your Battle Styles and when your Chill and Rain booster boxes were selling at or below $80. And I said that those were good buying entry points for those products. I stick to that thought process because we're already starting to see some of these products start to tick back up in price. But the thing about some of these is it's like, if you have it, for whatever reason, you watch this channel or you watch any of the Pokemon investing channels and you still haven't like created a position in Chill and Rain booster boxes, but you plan on it, but meaning you are still actively going to do this in the future, but you didn't think it was a good entry opportunity when those boxes were at 80 or sub $80. But my question to you would just be like, well, when are you going to make positions in those booster boxes? And you really missed the lows for those. But now those are sitting at like $99, $105, depending on the website you look at for a booster box like that. I still think that from 100 to 150 is going to be a freaking long time. And I don't know how long it's going to take a Battle Styles booster box or Chill and Rain booster box to hit that 150 mark. I think it might take a long time. And your guess is as good as mine is how long that timeline will be. But yeah, that's what I want to try to do on today's video, is do a near future of Pokemon Modern Investment and sort of try to make a path from where we can be at today to where we could potentially see like end of August, early September. And I'm extremely interested to figure out what exactly happens with that Evolving Skies reprint. I think so much is dependent on that. I think so much is dependent on Lost Origins. Is that set going to actually be as good as I believe? Will Pokemon Go not have the demand I think it's going to have? And then is Astral Radiance going to get some sort of either small reprint in the very near term or some sort of future reprint in like 6 to 7 months from now? Like if Astral Radiance gets like, I guess Chill and Rain technically was like the third wave that came out, but if Astral Radiance gets a similar dump like Chill and Rain did with its third wave and 6 to 7 months from now, Astral Radiance is going to be in the doghouse for a while. It's going to play out very similarly to a Battle Styles or a Chill and Rain if we see that reprint come in a couple months. And then, after Lost Origins, we're going to get into the last set of Sword and Shield, and whatever Sword and Shield expansion number 12 is in a couple months, that's going to be interesting, because after that, 12th expansion, then we're going to get into, what is it? Violet, whatever the new expansion. I can't even remember the name of the new expansion. Somebody in the chat probably could let me know what the new name of the set is going to be. But no, that will be extremely interesting also. So now I told you, like, the collecting hobby, when it comes to new shining stuff, they love it. They're probably, I've already heard about people talking about the new starters, and is Quaxley your favorite new starters? Quaxley, everybody's new favorite starter, stuff like that. But I am very interested to see that sort of thought process when it comes to stuff like that. But I do want to make this video too, if you guys have made it to this point in the video. So this Friday will now be officially the second episode of my podcast series with Cool Trainer Ryan and Rattle Pokemon. And it will premiere it will be on this channel immediately after Rattle's premiere. So if you guys join Rattle's premiere, there'll be a direct link as soon as that video is over, and it will automatically move you over to this channel, and you'll be right in that live. So if you guys have any questions, maybe you want answered during that live. So James from Alamo City said Scarlet and Violet. Thank you. I don't know why I was spacing out on the name of that. But if you guys have any questions, maybe you want answered during that live, feel free to write it in the comments of this video. Yeah, I'm trying something that is definitely different. Oh, and also one more thing. If you guys got a chance to watch my last video, all I did was said to people, do me a favor, send me to my Instagram, like your most recent purchase or your most recent buy, and write up a little thing, and I'll read it on my channel. And a lot of people did that. But also, a lot of people continue to do that after that video was over. Maybe they saw the community post, but they didn't see the video. But the reaction I got from the people who watched it, the people that sent stuff in, who submitted screenshots of what they bought, what they sold, really enjoyed that. So I'm actually going to turn that into a monthly video series. So obviously my last video was that. So probably sometime next month in July, there'll be another video very similar to that. So if you guys still want one of your buys or one of your sells featured on this channel, extremely similar as my last video, continue to send those screenshots over to my Instagram, and they will be in next month's video, because that will end up becoming a monthly thing. Now, maybe bi-monthly, I don't know, maybe like 2 times a month, who knows. We'll see how much people actually like those, if people don't like those. But I think a lot of people were very interested to see what were other people buying, what are the prices other people are buying at, what are people selling, what are the prices people are selling at, why are they selling at certain prices. And I think it's interesting to hear other people's thought process, and especially some of their buys makes me, when I look at what they bought and they said, oh yeah, I think this is a good buy, or maybe I don't think this is a great buy. Like, I'm never going to come out on one of those videos and like ever trash on a buy, anything like that. I would never do something like that. But I would always say like why I think I like that, or why maybe that's something I wouldn't do, or something like that. But even by you explaining why you made your purchase, it helps to open up my mind sometimes to some of that stuff. So if you want your buys or sells featured on my channel, just shoot me a message over on Instagram. But other than that, for everybody that tuned in, I appreciate it. I hope that this video worked out the way I was hoping, where I give that very near term path of how I see Pokemon playing out with Evolving Skies reprints, and again, Lost Origins. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. If you guys could do me a favor before you leave, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.